Let's fucking get into this shit. We all ready, boys?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a hit of the vape real quick.
Save a moment.
Fucking vapist.
When centrists send their people, they're not sending their best. They're fence sitters, vapists. Some I assume are good people. Alright, let's fucking go, baby.
Yeah. Okay, I think I'm a boomer. I think I'm a zoomer. I think I'm a doomer. Damn, I'm like a zoomer. Okay. EWGWHITE coming with the heat. I stay fooling with my bot. My tunes will make your speakers hot. Dance floor hops.
Welcome to the Grillcast, the only podcast in the world dedicated to radical centrism. I'm your host, Ryan, and joining me, as always, is Micah. What's going on, big guy?
Good to be here, man.
It's always good to be here with my boy Micah, and we have a very special returning guest here today, the owner of the Extreme Centrist Memes for Hardline Moderates page. What's going on, buddy? How are you doing?
Hey guys, yeah, I'm doing great. I do love your intro tune. I've got to admit, it gets me every time.
I know, I'll be really low energy before popping that on, and that song, it just powers me up. It fuels me. It's like a nuclear reactor. It's fucking, it's wonderful. It really
It's
is.
a certified bop.
It's a certified banger. Exactly. This is episode 50 of the Grillcast, which I want to take a moment to just talk about how we here at the Grillcast keep it 50. We don't keep it 100, that's a little too much. It's a little too powerful. We don't keep it 0, You keep it 0, you're nothing. You're less than dirt. But when you keep it 50, it's a nice, moderate, smooth ride.
It's that sweet spot.
It gets you there. It gets you there in a timely, orderly fashion. So keep it 50, people. Keep it 50.
I just wanted to commend our guest a little bit because we're obviously fans of the page, and one of the things I like so much about his little community is that I look at like the likes and I see like which of my friends like the page, and it's literally like everybody on my friends list, different sides, like progressives, communists, like far right, libertarian, centrists. It's like he's like Thanos with the infinity rings, and
he's fueled. Each stone is like one side of the political persuasion. It's a source of his power, and he can snap and when cuts just disappear and get GTFO'd. It's amazing. It really is. And, I've taken a big liking to the project you've been working on lately. I wanted to give you the opportunity here on the Shillcast to explain a little bit about what's going on. You're writing a novella?
Yeah, you're asking people for money.
Oh, yeah, thanks for bringing it up. I'll be getting the check in the post, as we discussed. But, so I've been working on a project to see if I can convert my meme page into actual real money. And apparently, yeah, you can. Like, you just have to produce an extended schizo post over the course of several weeks, and people seems to have
who would have thunk?
Yeah,
who would have thunk it?
Yeah, it's a little hard to explain, but basically, it's a novella based on a series of memes about, I don't even know. It's like it's a world building series of political compass memes about some settlers on an island that's inhabited by a demon and the demon's kind of native worshippers. And yeah, people like the memes, so I've made more memes. And then eventually I thought, people want this to be a book. Like, I'm not going to say no. And apparently people are willing to put £1,000 towards it.
What's the format? Kind of, is it going to be like a graphic novella? Is that how you say novel? Is that how you say novel?
So, well, they're different. So a novella is just a shorter novel.
Oh, okay. Excuse my ignorance.
Yeah, we Americans, we don't really do the whole reading thing, the whole books thing. It's a concept that goes beyond our expertise. But so one of the things when I was looking at it is that your characters are modeled off like political compass, basically. And there's so many characters too. It seems like a Game of Thrones-esque universe where there's just like all these different factions, and without it being all on paper and being extended, it's kind of hard for me to follow. It makes me feel like I'm some sort of smooth brain. Or maybe have you been taking like a lot of Adderall to produce this? Like how do you have such like a wealth of
Go through the creative
such a wealth
process.
of characters? Yeah, go through the creative process. Thank you, Micah.
That's a good question. So it kind of, the first one kind of almost made itself. Like, I had this idea in my head that I've been mulling on for a few days of what are these characters, and I was like, oh, I could write a story about this, but that sounds like, that would take Adderall. And so I'll just make a political compass meme, that's easy. And then so that one made itself. The other ones kind of, took a bit longer, a little bit more thought, a little bit more, but it's a creative process. I mean, it's one of those things, it just happens. It's hard to know where it comes from. I just hope it's not from a demon, I suppose.
So can you tell us about the demon character? His name's like
Carnaziel.
Yeah.
Carnaziel. And maybe a couple of other characters that are your favorites to, highlight to give us an idea of what's going on here.
What to look forward to.
So, Carnaziel, he's a, demon, like your classic Christian demon, but he's got himself a pretty good gig because he's found himself on this, like, little island, there's no Christians there until the beginning of the story, and it's just these natives who, for all they know, he's just their god, and they just kind of follow him, he's got a pretty cushy, like, the demon version of an easy desk job. Yeah, he's loving life. Until, obviously, these pesky Christians get shipwrecked on his island, and then, he has to torment them with incomprehensible horrors to get rid of them. And yeah, among the settlers, they're a wide mix of people ranging from... I do like based Crusader 14. So he is your kind of, your classic, like, based trad nationalist, Catholic, whatever, who also is, a fan of a bit of femboy hand-drawn art every now and then. And that's what it's all about. Everyone's got, their weaknesses and their sins, and it's all about the struggle between them and the demons.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of the right-wing trad people do. They do that, but then they have that skeleton in their closet. Maybe they secretly cross-dress. Maybe they do some stuff like that. I do like how you've created and modeled these characters after the political compass. I think that that's an interesting concept for making a series and understanding people's motivations.
I was just going to ask, is this kind of going to be one of those things? Because the way you frame it makes it seem like the Carnaziel is almost like the kind of an anti-hero, or like, the empathetic villain, I guess, because like you said, it seems like he's just vibing. Like, sure, he's a demon, but like he can't control that. It's an immutable characteristic. I mean, it's not his fault that he was, that he's a demon. And you see here that he's being put into a self-defense situation. Is just completely out of his control.
He's
or her
standing his
control.
ground.
I don't mean to misgender your fictional demon character. That's...
I would like to call your attention to the character Gemini. I've just put the compass in the Discord chat. She's, I believe, would share your opinion, because there is, of course, being a lib left corner of the compass, there's always got to be someone that says, well, actually, maybe the demon was here first. So from his perspective, we're the demons. And, who's to say that human sacrifice is objectively wrong?
Moral relativism, is certainly valid and cute.
Yeah, and it says a lot about our society.
It does.
Are there any in the interest of exploring centrism, where centrist shills here, are there any characters that fall under the radical centrist moniker?
See, there aren't quite, because of course if there was a radical centrist character, they would be objectively correct and without flaws and would solve all of the problems, which I think inherently ruins a story. So I think the closest we get to this is the ordinary dad. Closest we get is the ordinary dad. He's just a griller, but he's a little bit to the alt-right. So while he was born to grill, he has been forced to kill, and I think that takes away from his centrism a little bit.
Many such cases.
Yeah, if you had a radical centrist character, it'd be like Hank Hill just going in and fixing everyone's problems.
It'd be the story is the Mary Sue of the story. You don't want that.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I think the political compass is perfect, because every character needs a flaw, and of course every step you take away from the centre is a flaw.
It's true.
Writes itself.
where can we go to support this and learn more about it? I know you have a Kickstarter page. You were saying how much cashish you got flowing in right now, buddy?
So at the moment, I've got £1,061 pledged, which is double the
Whoa!
goal. So I'm pretty chuffed about that. And yeah, if people are interested in supporting it, if you just Google Terror on Every Side Kickstarter, or if you follow the link that I'm going to put in the chat, or if you're on my Facebook page, that's probably the easiest place to find it. And yeah, you can, for as little as £1, you can get your hands on a PDF copy, or you can pirate it for free, but I prefer it if you don't.
That's what I'll be doing.
I saw for the biggest sub tier, that you get a signed pair of tongs if you're a good little sub and pay the big bucks.
You do. We've got some fun rewards. So I think, yeah, the if you join the Elite Grillers Only Club, which is £60 pledge, or the Global Elite Influence for 120, you can get your hands on a signed pair of barbecue tongs. And that's the Global Elite Influence, I think, is a very special pledge amount, because for that, I will just like shamelessly shill for your political cause for a month, and you get to choose the political cause, and my meme page will be at your disposal.
I'll be sending the check. You should be getting it shortly.
Yeah, I've
just
been amazed
pure shilling for the Grillcast for a month.
Imagine.
People have actually gone for it. I almost put that in as a joke, but like people have actually pledged £120, which I think is.
I mean, have they asked you what to shill for something yet? Or
Not
are they
yet.
like waiting? They're holding on to that. They're like,
it's just like some guy with a South American name that hasn't responded to my messages. So I'm just waiting for like me to get the money, and then for him to be like, you've got to shill for the other side in World War III or something, or like. Yeah,
or like he forces you to make posts about how Argentina is white for a month.
Yeah.
You said a South African name. Is it Elon Musk?
I'd be hoping Elon Musk could be paying a bit more than 120, but I will shamelessly just defend him online as much as the sweatiest NFT fan for £120.
I'll be putting the Kickstarter link and your Facebook page link in the description for this video. My Gorillas, how could you not go and support this? You can get signed tongs for only, what, you said $60? That's a relic. That is a century.
120 British dollars, which is like 180 American dollars or something like that.
60 will get you the barbecue tongs, but not the shilling.
Okay, see, that's extreme centrist memorabilia. That's going to be worth so much more than 60 pounds someday. That's an investment. If you're the type of person that would invest in cryptocurrency or NFTs or anything like that, just don't do that. Buy these tongs, put them in like a display case, preserve it, because this novella is going huge. It's a banger, and I want to express my support for that. I like where this is going.
I appreciate the shilling. Your £120 should be on its way.
Yeah.
I'll take the tongs instead. Money's useless to me. But,
money is, yeah.
Cool. So I guess we'll get into our articles and discussions,
the real show,
and whatnot. Now that we're done shilling for our friend here. So let's start off with Kyle Rittenhouse news. Now, we'd all forgotten about this guy. Little Kyle Rittenhouse. He kind of fell off the map, but he's coming back as a map. He's establishing a map organization. Now, for people who don't know, map minor attracted people. I haven't seen him really. No, he calls his organization the Map Organization. He's that's what he's going for. It was something I didn't see coming, but I guess I guess what I'll do. I'll just play the video because I can tell you don't believe me.
He shot Rosenbaum because he was competition.
Jesus Christ.
Kyle, thanks so much for coming on tonight. I can't think of many people who've been at the receiving end of this much sinister lying from so-called news organizations as you have. How are you going to respond?
Well, Tucker, thank you for having me.
Of course.
Me and my team have decided to launch the Media Accountability Project as a tool to help fundraise and hold the media accountable for the lies they said and deal with them in court.
Oh, wait a second.
Interesting. So the idea
It's
is
TMAP.
maybe like the Covington Catholic
What's
kids,
the in their acronym?
you will be suing news organizations
I
that
think someone
maliciously
gave him a
lie about
tap on
people
the
who are
shoulder
in the
and warned
news.
him.
Yeah.
Is that the plan?
Yes, sir. We're going to be holding them accountable, Tucker.
God, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Do you-
I'm sorry that I slandered
His-
you by calling you a map supporter. Obviously, you're a T-map supporter. I think you guys are right. Somebody definitely tapped him on the shoulder. And it's like, buddy, hey, buddy, don't call this the map organization, buddy. Please.
This video
don't.
just reminded me of how much I hate Kyle Rittenhouse's voice. Like, it's actually worse than yours.
Yeah, I know. He does have a pretty bad voice, but you know, he's such a cute little kid. Like, I want to give him one of those propeller beanie hats and a comically oversized lollipop. It pinches chubby little cheek, and let him know everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
That these people and their lies won't continue.
So is that all he's doing? He's just like going after people who were like talking shit during the trial?
No, not so. During the trial, there were people being like, "Oh yeah, like he's a murderer," blah blah blah. But he's going after people specifically who, after the trial, after he was acquitted for being in a self-defense situation.
Right.
I don't want to get sued, so I'm not going to say he murdered anyone. There's people who afterwards were like, he's a murderer and he got off, and he's going to be suing those people.
Let me ask the extreme centrist who is not an American, what could be more American than shooting a bunch of people and then immediately afterwards suing a bunch of people for saying what you did was wrong?
He's a classic patriot. I'll give him that. I respect it. I respect the commitment to the bit.
Dude, it's the grind. It's not even a bit, dude. He's out here grinding.
No, I do. I've got a lot of time for Kyle Rittenhouse. I enjoyed the centrist move of him just like coming out and endorsing BLM as soon as he was released.
Yeah.
Like, he got all these boomers to donate millions for his legal defense, and then as soon as he's out, it's like, actually, no.
I also like that he's a lifeguard, but he shot a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty
Very
centrist. You know, he's got two sides. Inside Kyle Rittenhouse are two wolves, right? Now, you might be wondering, who is Kyle Rittenhouse suing? There's so many people that said a lot of things about him. And I have a video of him going over his target list. He has a list. He's checking it twice.
Have to go through what I went through.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to imprison you for the rest of your life. It wasn't coverage, it was advocacy. You have a lot of potential targets to sue yourself. Will you be suing any of these news organizations, and if so, when?
Chad Pose.
Well, right now we're looking at quite a few politicians, celebrities, athletes. Whoopi Goldberg's on the list. She called me a murderer after I was acquitted by a jury of my peers.
Whoa.
She went on to still
Whoopi,
say
General
that.
of Kekistan,
And
Goldberg.
there's others. Don't forget about Sank from the Young Turks. He called me a murderer before verdict and continues to call me a murderer.
Interesting. And what about the people who called you groundlessly a white supremacist, which makes it pretty hard to get a job for the rest of your life if you're a white supremacist?
Not really.
Will you be responding to them?
Absolutely. We are going to hold everybody who's lied about me accountable, such as everybody who lied, called me a white supremacist.
Yeah.
They're all going to be held accountable, and we're going to handle them in a courtroom.
Kyle Rittenhouse, I appreciate your announcing that tonight, the Media Accountability Project, and of course we're...
So who specifically are you going to go for?
People,
you know,
people who
everyone.
lied.
He's definitely a better marksman than he is a public speaker.
Yeah, you can't do it all, right?
I take issue with the statement that it's hard to get a job if you're a white supremacist. I mean, they get jobs in the federal government all the time, as we all know.
And Fox News.
You just send in a piece of paper with your name that says, I hate minorities, and you get instantly hired.
That's your cover letter.
Yeah.
Your resume is like, yeah, I've been
all the hate crimes you've committed.
I was the Grand Wizard in this chapter of the KKK. And...
Oh, you can work at the Department of Agriculture, yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Join the ATF.
I'm just happy to see Kyle Rittenhouse, still putting himself out there. I thought that, maybe he would just disappear, try and live a normal life, put this all behind him. But he's not going to do that. He's going to go after the people
Oh,
who
no.
said that, shooting people bad.
You see how smug he looked as well? I don't know if you noticed, but he looked very smug.
He's modeling himself after the smug Pepe.
Yeah.
He's seen all the Kyle Rittenhouse Pepe. He kind of looks Pepe-ish. But kind of more like a duck.
Like now that he's been acquitted,
duck.
he could literally make jokes about him killing. Like he could pull an OJ Simpson and just like flagrantly make jokes about killing these people and just be like, yeah,
can't touch this.
Has he done the old Zimmerman and sold the gun yet?
No. Okay, so
pull the Zimmerman.
Here's something that pisses me off is afterwards he actually ended up destroying the gun.
Oh.
Instead of selling it, he's like, we need to destroy this and I don't like to think about it and blah, blah, blah. Which is bullshit. Like, obvious. You know that, like, we all saw him after he got out of court, that picture where he's, like, in the car and he's just, like, bumping fucking trap music, Zoomer trap. He's super happy. Super happy.
You do know, though, that the reason that he's destroyed it is so that, like, at the end of the next film, he can, like, dramatically reforge it into a new, more powerful gun when things get bad.
Oh, no.
He's gonna be like he's gonna be in Alaska. He's gonna be like wearing a flannel, chopping wood, and the government's gonna come in like a helicopter.
Oh,
no, I left that behind. I don't do that anymore. You're the only one who can.
Rittenhouse 2. This time it's personal.
Yeah. You're the only one who can shoot those brave activists. I don't do that anymore. I have a family now.
Gage with a robot arm.
Cyborg Rosenbaum. Reanimated.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Good stuff. So, yeah, that's what Kyle's up to now. So speaking of Kyle Rittenhouse, have you guys heard about Kyle Kittenhouse?
Has he started an OnlyFans? Please don't tell me he started an OnlyFans.
Kyle Kittenhouse is the name I've given the Portland Antifa shooter. Over the weekend, there was an Antifa protest. It was in Portland. It was regarding some black guy who got shot in Minneapolis. And for some reason, Portland loves to, like, they're culturally appropriative. Like, they protest for things that have nothing to do with their city. They're like, some guy in Botswana stubbed his toe. Let's go burn down a local business. Right? And so, yeah, there's a anti-police brutality protest in Portland, and it got shot up by some guy. His name's Ben Smith. He's a 43-year-old machinist, and most importantly, he's a furry who goes by Pollybun. Kyle Kittenhouse, aka Pollybun.
Pollybun. What's his persona?
His persona is a rabbit.
No.
He's the rabid rabbit. And he lived in Portland. He got sick and tired of people protesting near him. And I have some screenshots to go over. This news was broken on Twitter last night between this wasn't reported by the mainstream media until early today. So it was broken by Antifa investigators online, which people online, wingcucks online who have no life and just have hours to investigate and do deep dives on people. Honestly, they're the most powerful information sources that we have. So okay, yeah, let's just go over what this guy says here. Let me go ahead and
props to Antifa, honestly. Kind of based.
Yeah.
We could do an epic handshake with them on that one.
GG Antifa.
GG.
From John the Lefty on Twitter, the Portland mass shooter has been identified as Ben Smith, 44, who has a history of violence and has vocally talked about killing Antifa and BLM protesters in the past. He has become more radicalized over the last 2 years and is a fan of Andy. I never know how to say his last name.
I think it's No.
No, NGO. I like NGO better. It sounds better. And this is a picture of him. Look at this guy right here. That is the chin of a wing cuck. I think that there should be a new law established, like a logic law or whatever the fuck they're called. That's like the more of a wing cuck you are, the worse your jawline is. He looks like the main character of Cuck Simulator. It's really amazing.
Oh my god, that's what I was thinking of. I was like, who does this guy? He's making me think of something. I can't put my fucking finger on it. And then you said it, and I'm like, oh my god, that's the guy.
You thought it. I said it. That's centrism in action, baby. Ben Smith is not a homeowner, and the killing was politically motivated. He is a part of the furry community, which has a history of alt-right ties. Furries fall all across the political spectrum, though. Reports that he sells ghost guns and is a gun fanatic. And there's a picture here from the article, Does the Furry Community Have a Nazi Problem? And this most prominently displayed furry, the one with the SS uniform on with the paw print armband instead of a swastika, that's a furry that goes by Foxlore. He gained some fame for going to fur cons and wearing that get-up and causing seeth and butthurt based off of that. Which it's crazy to me that furries aren't smart people, so it's not that crazy that one would be a Nazi, but like they'd be the first in the gas chambers. They'd be fucking euthanized immediately, right? They'd be put down. I don't know.
Why? Like, why do you guys think it is that these people are always like this? Like these murderers and like killers always have some niche cringe hobby. Like they watch way too much. They're way too into anime, or they do fucking furry shit, or
because they're just men with daddy issues. It's just the male version of having pink hair and supporting communism.
Like, do you guys remember that guy, that YouTuber?
Really
you guys remember that YouTuber that had his own like Danny Phantom fanfic, and then he like shot up the store and then killed himself so he could be like part of the fanfic?
He's like, I'm going ghost.
No, like, is it like this? Like, is this American, or does this happen in Britain too? Because I heard about this guy in Britain who's writing a novella about this like carnassial demon thing, and I'm slightly concerned that they might end up doing something like this.
I'll have you know, I have a good relationship with my father, and I'm a good Christian boy.
You know what's funny about you? What you said about them all having daddy issues is he does write, because I have some chat logs of this guy talking in furry Discord and Telegram groups. And one of the things that he writes is that his father was a walking Jim Beam bottle or something like that. Like, you hit the nail on the head. This guy has daddy issues. And I also want to highlight the Ben Smith is not a homeowner thing.
Very cringe. Very cringe.
Very cringe. But this is always a rentoid problem. Like, if you have a stake in your community and have, money and stuff, you're not going to be going and doing cringe shit like this. And the reason why this Antifa brings this up is because the initial reports from the arrest is that the person arrested was a homeowner, a local community homeowner, and not politically motivated. And so Antifa did some digging and found out that actually this guy's a rentoid. He goes on to say, Portland mass shooter Ben Smith followed Andy No on YouTube. Sources say he was a big fan of No. It's unclear if Ben Smith knew about JFPK March from Andy No. No demonized them as armed extremists that attacked the public. Smith called victims terrorists before opening fire. So basically, what I found out from this is that this is Andy No's fault.
Yeah. For sure.
You should feel really bad about this because he basically pulled the trigger himself. He brainwashed this guy into thinking that these protesters in his city annoyed him.
I mean, we all know this is a tale as old as time with journalists. I mean, this is basically what they do.
I was just going to say, like, if it wasn't for journalists, like, far-right furries would just be normal, healthy members of society, Be able to...
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. How many people did he kill?
He killed one. He shot 5, killed 1. That's the other thing. Like,
ratio.
God, I don't even...
Ratio?
I don't...
fuck?
I don't know if I should say this, but don't you think like it's really good that there
Proceeds
haven't
to say
been
that.
any radical centrist like mass shooters because they do such a
Exactly.
better job.
Exactly.
I feel like it's how do you shoot 5 people and only kill one? Like, was he using a pellet gun? What's wrong with this guy? I don't know. I just feel like
Do you know why
somebody
do you
with an
know,
IQ. I'm sorry. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
do you know why radical centrists would make much more lethal killers?
Why is
Because
that?
they aim center mass.
Hey.
True. True.
I would stand by the fact that Hiroshima and Nagasaki were radical centrist acts of terrorism.
It's true. See, we get
Oh,
shit
yeah.
done. To keep going through this thread, Portland police made definitive statements about the Portland mass shooter that weren't important details but make the shooter look less culpable. That he was a homeowner and he didn't have political affiliations. Both of these are wrong. So the police slandered centrists by saying that, this guy who couldn't even kill more than one person in a mass shooting was a centrist. That's the first tell right there that something's wrong. You're like, wait, he only got one? No, he has to have an IQ below 100. There's no way. There's no way. Ben Smith goes by Polybun. He caught Furry's attention for his anti-Semitism, Nazi sympathies, and desire for the Proud Boys to do a mass shooting like he ended up carrying out. He was in a free fur all chat that was being called NaziCon by anti-racist furries. There is a furry civil war between
Classic furry
the Wing Cup
infighting.
fashions. Yeah, there's like commie furries, Nazi furries, and they have just as big of problems with each other, but somehow make it even more cringe than the average Wing Cup dispute.
Not that I'm implying anything about this outside of Minecraft, but like synthetic fur is incredibly flammable.
Excuse me?
You know, I'm honestly surprised that there's never been anybody that shot up a fur convention. Like, I don't think anyone should. I think people
nobody should do that.
be
That's
allowed
terrible.
to be weird. That's terrible. But I'm surprised it's never happened.
I would hate to see that.
Okay. Important note to cap this off. Furries have been working to kick Nazis and right-wing extremists out of their community for years, and this guy does not represent the furry community.
I respect it.
So, we need to acknowledge all right attempts to co-opt and force their way into countercultures. Is that a fair representation of the furry movement? Is it a counterculture? I mean, I guess it kind of is.
I mean, I don't know what are you countering?
I mean, in the sense that it's repulsive to most normal people, I guess it's a counterculture.
Yeah, you're countering being somebody that I'd want to spend even 2 minutes around.
But you lived with furries, didn't you?
You know, I did. I did live with furries. The ones I had a couple roommates. So I used to live in a house of like 10 people in my college age years. A couple of them were furries. And what's funny is that they were probably the most normal people in the house.
Wow.
Yeah.
That doesn't
You know,
bode
other
well.
than being gay, but I guess I'll put up show you a picture of his persona, because it really is. You look at it and it's terror. You know, you look at it and it's like this is the guy.
Imagine this guy walks up to you and starts shooting.
This guy walks up looking like a character from Arthur. This is the only picture I could find of his persona. It was uploaded 14 years ago onto furaffinity.com. So
Classic.
This is a guy, this is what wing cuckery, what internet-induced autism does to people. 14 years ago, this guy's getting into it. And it's like his mind has been in an oven, and it's just been baking and baking and baking, and now it's burning. There's smoke billowing out. The wing cuck conversion is complete. And he goes and does this. I have a chat log here where he talks about hating trans people, which I think is hilarious because, like, how can you be How can you be a furry and feel a sense of superiority over anyone? Okay, here we go. Someone with nothing to live for and struggles with suicide every day, ... So a tranny. All trannies are scum. I love how they are like pulled threatening to bring guns. Bitch, wrong. I'm promising I'm bringing guns because I bring guns with me everywhere. Because guns are awesome. And
The response?
this is in response to him getting attention for being he got kicked out of a Oregon fur con, or told he can't come because he's like, I'm gonna bring guns with me.
Comes anyway.
To a free for all. That was their fur con. Oh yeah, here's him talking about like this is what these wing cucks do, is they get super mad about like antifa or whatever, and like they just fantasize in their head for years about going and doing this and like shooting some people because they have like no power over it, and they need like a little bit of control. And again, they are better armed than you think, and much more willing to shoot.
Notices your concealed carry. Ooh, what's this?
I have one that's better than this, actually.
Dude, how many fucking JPEGs do you have for this?
Nazis are socialists, and socialists suck, says another furry deployed
Dems are the real racists.
And Polybun says, although if you make me choose one socialist or the other, I'm taking the Nazis over Antifa. Nazis have way, way hotter uniforms. This is what wing cucks do. That's how wing cucks choose their ideology. This is what you do. You turn 12, you decide which one has the cooler aesthetics, and then you're like, yeah, I kind of like this whole
literally
like,
me.
Calling people comrade thing. That's literally me. Oh yeah, I like Untermensch or whatever the fuck. Yeah, that's me. That's literally
Meanwhile,
me.
we who grew up with our dads, we see our dads and we're like, that's literally me.
I just find it interesting that someone who clearly cares about aesthetics would even contemplate being a furry.
What are you talking about, dude? What's more aesthetic than nature? In the natural world and the fucking animals that inhabit it, dude. You can't.
Okay, I guess I'll just say one more thing, is that his roommate was interviewed by some Oregon newspaper, OPB. No, Oregon Live or something. She told the site he became more radicalized during the Donald Trump administration. She heard him yelling racial slurs in his room and deriding women. So
many such cases.
Let he who has not yelled racial slurs and deriding women in his room cast the first stone, though, right? Like, what are we doing here? The last thing I'll mention are a couple of comments on our sponsored site, Our Drama, the sponsors of the show. A couple comments that people made regarding this. Imagine being a Portland detective and you have to investigate a shooting between a grown man who dresses up in a dog and a bunch of grown men who dress up as communists, and you're not allowed to laugh at any of them. Can we get a shout out to our boys in blue? Can you imagine having to do that and like keep a stone cold stoic face and not?
It's like the people who are asking, like, imagine what it's like to be Chris Chan's defense lawyer.
Yeah.
Same type of shit. Clown world meets the real world.
Another user comments, can you prosecute a furry for shooting Portlanders? There are no humans involved. I guess we'll move on to our next segment. I don't know if you guys have heard about this one. The Don't Say Gay bill in Florida. It is an amendment to Florida's so-called Don't Say Gay bill that would explicitly require schools to inform parents of their child's sexual orientation. And the amendment filed by bill sponsor Joe Harding on February 18th changes the bill to instead not only require disclosure, but requires schools to tell parents within 6 weeks of learning the student is any other sexual orientation other than straight. How do you guys feel about this?
Well, I certainly am not missing the irony of, and I'm assuming the Democrats are probably fighting back against this because this was a Republican amendment. I read the article a little bit, and I definitely am not missing the irony of a Republican conservative trying to force families, right, to have a discussion about their children's sexuality, and these so-called Democrats and progressives are, opposing it, assuming that kids coming out will automatically lead to them being abused. It's just just very backwards.
What's interesting is before this guy filed the amendment, the bill, it required schools to inform families of their child's LGBTQ plus status, but it left an option for exemption for disclosure for cases where there's a suspicion of the information leading to abuse, neglect, or abandonment. But the new amendment is like, well, those kids, if you abuse, neglect, or abandon them, maybe it'll fix them up. Maybe it'll unscramble that mess. Right?
I think we need to look in a
Unscramble that
little.
egg.
I think we need to hone in our focus a little more, okay? Because here's what's strange to me here is like, what are we operating off of? What's the premise here? The premise is that you have kids out here telling agents of the state what their kinks are. So this is like what does this say about our society where as a result of this, we're having to make laws to regulate, what actions are taken in response to that? How about just like, who does that? Like, who goes to their fucking teacher and is like, yeah, I have a butt plug in right now, actually.
See, I think if they're going to pass this, I think they should have to disclose if they're straight as well, and they should have to give detailed chat logs of we caught him send them all the screenshots of them sending flirty snaps to other students.
And then what if the kid denies it, right? Yeah, you're right. Like, does the state then have the burden to prove that the kids are actually gay?
Yeah.
And then,
bring them into court.
Yeah, you have a fucking homosexual tribunal,
Actually, that happens in the UK sometimes. There's actually that happens in real courts because you can, if you're gay in a country that bans homosexuality, you can claim refugee status in the UK because you're gay. But sometimes some boomer judge will be like, okay, but have you got any videos proving that you're a lesbian? And it's happened unironically in real life. So it's if they ever need any UK judges to give them guidance on that, can be done. We're way ahead.
Piece of evidence number 1. Browsing history. You gotta bring it in, and I listen to Ariana Grande every day, okay? I'm a man, and I listen to this. Tell me that that's not homosexual.
And as counter evidence, they could present, the whole evidence that in fact traps are not gay.
Objection, Your Honor. My client never touched the dick and balls.
No, objection, Your Honor. I said no homo before performing those acts.
Has the prosecution considered that this was in fact a feminine penis?
Is there court precedence on
submitted
this?
into evidence?
America really does just enjoy using this whole states' rights thing to just introduce they're just taking they must be doing this for fun. There must be some Republican guy that's just we do a little trolling, and then his underlings.
That's what you get with federalism. That's federalism and boredom is a combination for endless entertainment.
Maybe it's kind of maybe if we get all these people outed as gay, then it'll distract from the fact that I'm secretly gay. Something like that.
No, these kids are all gay. Their parents need to know that. Their parents don't need to know that I'm gay.
It was proven in the gay tribunal that they're gay. I haven't been convicted in court.
Is there any other things you might want to talk about?
Our last segment here today is that Victoria's Secret, they hired their first model with Down syndrome.
Oh.
Right? So
wow.
Sophia Jarrell, 24, becomes Victoria's Secret's first model with Down syndrome. Dream come true. She says, when I was little, I'm sorry, let me try that again. When I was little, I looked myself in the mirror and said, I'm going to be a model and a businesswoman. Okay. So, do you guys want to see a picture of her? Because, look, I'm not ableist. Like, how can you have a problem with this and not have a problem with all the fat women Victoria's Secret has been platforming? Like, we need to talk
No, I
about who
agree.
they've been.
I agree. It's a double
platforming these
standard.
days.
It's definitely a double standard.
I'll go ahead and share the screen now. I mean, like, see, like,
Hell yeah.
those tits are retarded, bro.
See, I do just think it's really empowering how neoliberalism finds ways to sexualize new demographics. Like, I think this is a massive step forward for people with Down syndrome, that now they too can be coomed over by executives.
And the question I'm sure everybody in the audience is asking is, well, would you do her? And the answer is, of course, absolutely, yes, gladly,
Well, but
and respectfully.
all women are retarded, right? Like,
Yeah,
what's the difference here? This one's diagnosed. Like, okay, I'm just saying. I think we've all done worse.
Yeah, I'm about to do worse later tonight.
I'm gonna be honest. I just brought this in because I wanted to say those tits are retarded.
I was wondering. I was like, why are we fucking talking about this?
I do think we need to have a discussion on platforming. Like I said earlier, Victoria's Secret platforms fat women to be bikini models, and that's something that should just be seen as, culturally offensive. What am I trying to say here? I guess I support cancel culture in that regard, right? Like, when you see something that is just plainly offensive to all your sensibilities, that you look at it and in your stomach you can just feel the twisting in your stomach that says this is wrong and we shouldn't allow this in a polite democratic society, right? Yeah. How do we get Victoria's Secret to understand that platforming extremist weight is wrong? Extremist weight speech.
I mean, I think you could probably start by stopping buying their products.
Yeah, I guess.
Do people?
I'm not gonna...
okay. Hold on. This is a model, right? This is a Victoria's Secret model, so they're using it for advertisement. So that's right, or is it like a catalog, or what is this?
Dude, I don't fucking know.
Like, who buys that kind of stuff? Who buys catalogs or fucking magazines or calendars of women anymore? Like.
Okay, I want to say this because I used to get the Victoria's Secret catalog when I was a kid because my mom got it.
Right.
It's just something that comes in the mail. It's an advertisement. It's free. And I just want to talk about how hard it must be for kids nowadays. I mean, I guess I have internet porn, but back in the day, like, that Victoria's Secret catalog, when it came in the mail, at a certain point, I checked the mail every day before my family in case I came in. That was my material right there. Keep it hidden under the bed. But now these kids, they get Victoria's Secret catalogs and it's filled with extremist weight speech and it's something like, does it brainwash them and make them into chubby chasers, or like what does this do psychologically to our children?
I mean, I also want to point out how this isn't really groundbreaking at all, because we've literally had like Down syndrome porn for decades.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Some sins cannot be forgiven.
Where?
Where? I'm right. Hold on. Let me get my pen and paper.
I'm gonna have to do the rest of the episode one-handed. What the hell? This isn't real, is it? Oh, okay. Well,
it's time to wrap up.
I think it's time to wrap up the episode and get out of here. I have an appointment to get to. So, Extreme Centrist Memes, X, my boy X, gonna give it to you. What you have any final thoughts, any wisdom you'd like to impart on our audience today? Thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much. It's been good fun. No, just that there might be people with Down syndrome in heaven, but there won't be any fat people.
All right.
And girl pills.
Very, very cogent final words. We'll have your links for all your stuff in the description. Everyone should go check that out and purchase some Extreme Centrist memorabilia. Peace out, my gorillas.
See you next year.
My mind said on Zoomer. Everything cool as long as I'm not Laura Loomer. If you think I'm not number one, I just spelled that rumor. Hit that victory royale on some motherfucking coochie. Default dance on a bitch. Hit the default dance on a bitch. Floss dance while I'm flossing in a whip. Victory royale when that chopper hit. So self-incrimination. I have no participation. News keep asking, I don't say shit. You can't have my conversation.
Skrrt.